Welcome back, drawing buddies. This week we're going to draw Toga and Twice from My Hero Academia, from pencils to inks to colors. So if that sounds like a good way to spend 38 or 40 minutes or so, then let's draw. Toga and Twice, I'm pretty sure, other than Venom, and he's sort of an anti-hero, is the first time we are going to draw villains. Ooh. I actually want to draw a Joker and some other villains, so, eventually we'll get some villains drawn, it'll be fun. And Toga and Twice were fun. They took a while, because there's two of them, and I got a little crazy on some of the shading, but it was fun, and that's the whole point of this. We're going to have fun, and we're going to draw some villains. So, I hope I remember enough about My Hero Academia to make this work, because I didn't re-watch anything, because I just watched it all for the Deku and the All Might drawing, so hopefully there's enough stuck in my head to get us through this video. It just might not be all about Toga and Twice, so I apologize in advance for that. So Toga and Twice, they are part of the League of Villains, and they follow Shiragaki, and I guess by proxy, all for one, or one for all for one. See, I'm messing that up again because I haven't done an All Might video or anything like that in a while. But anyway, it's all for one. And her powers are twisted. She basically drinks your blood, and then she could imitate you, turn into a copy of you. And if she truly loves you, which is a weird addition to the quirk, she can also use your powers. And that's where Twice comes in. And Twice, his power, is to make a whole lot of duplicates of himself. Like many, 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 many. Like in the last season in the War Arc. There are so many copies of Twice, and he didn't even do it. Toga did. Because Twice, unfortunately, was unalived by Hawks. Quite unceremoniously. In fact, you could say he was flat out, M-word. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. And like I said, I'm trying to be good about that stuff. But I think it's going to get old quick. And if it costs me views, then so be it. I'll start saying some of these words that I don't find offensive. Again, but right now we're trying it, and things seem to be on the up and up, so we'll go from there. So I don't remember. Toga's origin was kind of sad. She was just a little girl, but her power was kind of twisted, and she had a taste for blood, almost like a vampire. And as a child, you can't hide stuff like that very well, so everybody noticed that she kind of liked blood and thought it was creepy, and they ostracized her for that. And that's what drove her to villainy. Twice, I don't know his origin. I don't remember. I'm sure they showed it earlier in the series, and I don't remember it. I might have to look it up a little later in the video, and we'll talk about it. And when I do, it'll be one of those things like, oh, yeah, now I remember. Duh. You just need a quick little reminder to push you in the right direction sometimes, and that happens to me all the time in these videos. Like, I'll say, pause, I'm going to look this up, and then bam, it hits me like, oh, that's the answer. But I already pushed pause, so what can I do about it? Alright, so we all know that My Hero just came to an end last month. But they already announced that they're going to do a bonus issue, and it's going to follow adult Deku as a teacher doing his kid thing, and probably using his little Iron Man suit they gave him at the end of at the very last seconds of the final episode. That's a terrible sentence, but we're keeping it in there. As for Toga here, when I was drawing her, I'm like, oh, her hair is going to be terrible and horrible and awful to draw. And you know what? It absolutely was not. I just looked at it and like, oh, okay, so it's like a Princess Leia thing with a bunch of stray hair sticking out. And that's how we went with it. Except, of course, she's blonde also. And when I started coloring her, I put the little color dots above her before I started. So I know which colors to use, and I totally used all the wrong ones and had to recolor parts of it. So good times there. But she was really fun, really interesting to draw, because I kind of like when I do the anime ones. They're different, and the drawings themselves go a little quicker. So maybe I'm meant to be an anime artist? I don't know. I never really thought about it. An anime style artist, really. But I don't think I'm going to fully ever lean into it. It'll just be one of those tricks in my bag of tricks. Because, the drawing of the anime people, the big round heads and the big eyes, I always lean toward that anyway, so. I keep saying I'm going to lean more into it for other videos, And then when I do, it doesn't work. Like I tried the Big Eye Absolute Batman. Did not work. I started doing, there's a Harley Quinn video coming up. I started to do that all big-eyed and buggy. And again, I didn't love it. So, certain things I just don't like the way it looks when I try to go anime on it. And some things I do. Like Toga and Twice. Well, Toga really, not Twice. Twice is just standard superhero, but big old eyes. And I love them for it. So I did decide to have Toga hold her knife. And I move her hand a little later on. As you can see in the final drawing to this one, she's holding it closer because I wanted to show more of her scarf and have that red popping out. So I thought it was necessary to move the hand. Even though the knife's a little hard to read in this one, which I'm sorry about, but you know. When you get into the end, you just gotta say, yep, the only bad drawing is an unfinished drawing, and go forward. Because I do believe that, you know. Even if you don't love the look of the drawing or you're not happy with parts of it, once you finish it, it's a good drawing because it's done. And you have that to celebrate, really, that you actually finished something. Like, towards the end of the month, I will have a Spider-Gwen video. And I already did Spider-Gwen. I drew her. She's one of my first videos, probably in the first 10 videos. But I was going back through all the old drawings, and I do not like that Spider-Gwen drawing. Not even a little bit. Everything about it I don't like. I like the idea of it. I don't like the execution. I think it's too stiff. I think it's too bland. I did the building background thing where I black and white a photo, and I don't think it worked for that drawing. And the girl I babysit, she's starting to watch the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends cartoon, and I got her a Spider-Gwen hoodie for Christmas. And she loves Ghost Spider, she loves Spidey, and she loves Spins, which is Miles. I don't know why they call him Spins in that. That's a terrible nickname, but Miles got shafted on nicknames in that show because, you know, you gotta call Peter Parker Spidey because that's been his stick since 1962. 62. So anyway, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna draw a new Gwen because I'm gonna print it out poster size for her so her parents can hang it on the wall. And I drew another Spider-Gwen. She's in the mask this time, but I went all design on it with the titles and text, and I love this one. This Spider-Gwen more than makes up for what I don't like about the old one. I mean, the old video will still be there and you can watch it, but there will be a new one. And I definitely designed it to be a poster to be hung on a wall, which, you know, all these drawings are. But this one I put text in it, and I thought more about the design than the drawing, so it's got both going for it. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to showing you guys. In fact, it's going to be a woman-heavy month, because we got Toga and Twice here. That's going up this Friday. Obviously, we're talking about it. Then I have Optimus Prime. Then I have Engine from Gotcha Gagago. I don't know how to say it. And then I got Harley Quinn. And I got Spider-Gwen. And I also have a drawing I started, and I couldn't think of who it was going to be. I just kind of drew a generic guy floating like he's flying. And I'm like, oh, who could this be? And at first I'm like, Superman, because, you know, I drew Superman versus Thor, but I didn't draw Superman by himself. But I'm like, nah, we will redraw Superman, but, you know, maybe I'll do like a Super People month when the Supergirl movie's coming out, where I'll do Superman, Supergirl, I'll do Lobo. And if the trailer shows somebody else cool it's going to be in that movie, we'll do them too. So those we'll put off till later. And then I was like, who can I draw? Iron Man? I said, I don't love Iron Man. He's not a character I'm all that interested in drawing right now. I mean, I am going to do Iron Man eventually, but this flying pose was more for somebody with a cape, you know? So I'm like, Homelander's cool, so maybe it'll be Homelander. I mean, I don't love Homelander either, but I love The Boys show, and I think it's hilarious, even though I never read the comics. So, could be Homelander. Could be Omni-Man. It can't really be Invincible, because like I said, I want a cape. And I also would have to thin him down, which wouldn't be hard, but I really like the way it is now. But the front runner, as much as I hate to say it, is Thor. I mean, we already drew Thor getting his butt kicked by Superman, so he needs a little redemption. But I don't love Thor all that much either. And I don't know a lot about Thor. So I'll probably watch the Thor movies again. But right now it's looking like it's going to be Thor. the god of thunder. Plus, the cool thing with him is I can have the lightning striking behind him, and I'm not sure if I'd have the hammer twirling or if just holding it. Depends on what looks better. We'll try both and pick a winner from there. And he won't go towards the end of the month. I'm going to use to break it up a little because I like to vary between male and female characters. So, I'll have Toga and Twice, and then I'll probably have Prime, and then I'll have Harley, then I'll have Engine, and then I'll have Spider-Gwen, and then I'll have Thor. So I'll break it all up nicely if it's Thor. We'll decide tomorrow because tomorrow's a drawing night. Today's a recording day. And after I finish recording Toga and Twice, I'm either going to do another recording because I want to be ahead on the recordings. Because I got them all drawn and laid out and ready to videoize, we'll call it. But I don't have all the voiceovers done. So I might do another voiceover today. I normally just do one a week and then let it go. But I want to be ahead because after I finish this and maybe the other voiceover, I'm going to go into the Streamlabs and make some templates for hold screens, like coming soon or potty break or wait a minute, I got up to get a drink. Things like that. And you play music and you disappear for a minute, then you come back because live streams go it's going to go for at least 2 hours. So I might need to get up and take a little break every now and then. So I got to make little cards for that. And they have generic ones, but that's boring. So I want to make nice ones that kind of show off what this channel does. So, it'll have color. It'll have some of the little drawings of things we do here. And I also got to make a little avatar for myself that could talk. I drew a gorilla one, and I really like them, but I don't know if I'm going to use them. I might just draw a person version of me, and you guys could judge me based on that. Or I'll use the gorilla, because I'm going to do it two ways. I got the Adobe Character Maker, where you could feed in pre-recorded video, and then it'll match the lips. I just got to go in there and draw a bunch of different mouths for vowels, and different eyes for things, so that'll be done. But then, for the live streams, I just need a more simplified open mouth version. And then I got to set that program up to sync with my lips and all that fun stuff, what I'm saying, because that goes by audio. And that one's tricky because I ran some pre-recorded audio through it, and just the mouth was open all the time because I don't know if you guys noticed or not, you're regulars, but I tend to talk a little fast. And that's a problem when something with audio is trying to open and close while you're speaking. But we'll get to that, and we'll get it done, and it'll be awesome. And I'm excited for it. Because that's going to be the rest of my week, really. I'm going to work on that stuff tomorrow. I'm going to work on it Saturday. I'm going to work on it Sunday. And hopefully by Monday, it'll be all ready to go. And then I will do a test live stream, which none of you will ever see. It'll only be like 5-10 minutes. And then I'll see if the audio works, if pushing the buttons on the different things work. I'll send it to the friend I'm going to do the podcast with. Have him read me the riot act on how I did everything wrong and it's horrible. And then I'll do another one with some of his suggestions in mind and things that I see that I hate and I'll fix. And some of his stuff I'll ignore. And some of the stuff I don't like I'll ignore. And hopefully by the end of next week, we'll be ready for some live streaming. And that'll be cool. I don't mean we'll go live in 2 weeks, but we'll be ready for it. And I will figure it out. Because the other thing I want to figure out about live streams, and sorry if I'm boring you with this talk, because it obviously isn't about Toga and Twice, is I don't know if I should draw live, if I should play one of the slow versions of the old videos underneath and talk to you all. And then, like, if you have a question, like, hey, I was wondering how you did the hands on this video. And then we'll pause what's playing in the background, because I'll be talking the whole time. So you'll be entertained by my mic skills, which are pretty much non-existent. But we'll pause it. We'll cut to the live drawing tab. I'm like, all right, so if you want to know how to draw a hand like this, let's do it. And we'll talk you through that, and we'll go over all those kinds of things. And, you could give a request for future videos. That'll be fun. You say, hey, you know what? I bet it'd be cool if you drew Thor. And I'm like, oh, I guess so. Let's draw Thor. Because one thing about drawing a video every month is eventually I run out of things that I want to draw. So then I got to find things that I have to draw, which is sometimes fun. Because, like, I love Optimus Prime. I love the Transformers, but I never actually thought of drawing Optimus Prime. And I was just cleaning, and I found one of my old Transformer toys that I had from, well, not the one I had. I gave that one to my son. I bought a reissue when the first time they reissued the original Prime at the now defunct Toys R Us. Sadness. Pour one out for the homie. I'm like, I'm going to draw Prime. And that's one of the movies me and my friend are going to talk about when we do our little talk show. We're going to talk about the original Transformers movie from 1987 because we have a unique perspective on that movie. Because we were there when it happened. So we saw all that pain and destruction live on the screen. As shocked 12-year-olds going, what's going on? My friends, they're all getting unalive before me. Gosh. So, you know, that'll be fun. And plus, talking about him will be fun because I know enough about Prime to get through a video. So, yeah, 2026 is going to be a fun year. So, I hope you all stick around, and I hope some new people show up to hang out with us. And, yeah, we're going to make this work, and it's going to be fun. In fact, we already rung in the new year. I went to bed with 698 subs. I woke up with 700. Then an hour later, I had 699, and now I have 701. So, at least we're starting off the new year with a new solid number to push towards. We went from the 600s, which took forever to get out of, into 700. So, we'll see where it goes from there. And I thank every single one of you for pushing that subscribe button because, you know, you can't grow without it, unfortunately. And next we need to work on hours. We need to get the hours in. So, those of you who got this far, please watch all the way through. Maybe watch another video. Watch a bunch of shorts. We need hours. The hours is the big goal for 2026. I mean, more subs is nice too, and I love everybody who joins and comes into our little group. But, you know, hours is the part that's killing us right now. So, anybody who cares, watch a few videos. Watch half a video. Watch 10 minutes of a video. Watch a minute. I'm just glad you're here. But the more, the better. Another thing that was fun with drawing Toga is she's got the crazy face, you know? She's almost like a Joker type character. And she's very expressive, and she always has, you know, a worrying smile on her face, like she's up to no good. And that was kind of fun to draw because, you know, if you draw her straight face, sometimes you draw her open mouth and kind of whiny looking, but I went for the Joker look, and I really like it. In fact, the Joker, we're going to put him on the list of things to do because my favorite comic book villain, and I'm sure he's more than one person, so we're going to throw him into the mix too. Plus, I gave her like kind of vampire-y teeth, a little bigger than normal, which I think they do anyway in the comics. So Toga was fun. She was a lot of fun to draw, and I'm glad we took her on. And Twice was kind of fun to put back her with the rabbit ears and making fun of her, ha ha ha, because they were good friends. In the final villain arc, well, before that, Hawks was sent to infiltrate, was it the League of Villains or some other evil group? And he knew the final war was coming, and he knew that Twice's power would be a big problem for the heroes to overcome, so he gained Twice's trust, and, or did Twice figure out, Twice figured out that he wasn't really helping the villains, I think it was, but I could be wrong, so correct me if I am. But I do know that Twice realized this, and he got out of Dodge quick, but Hawks chased him down. And he kind of did the stabby. And he took care of Twice. So Twice wasn't with us anymore. Oh, the pencils are done. And now it is time to ink Toga and Twice. And that was fun. I think the colors is what really took the time on this one, because the inking on the anime ones goes pretty quick because you don't have to worry about all the hatching lines and all that other fun stuff, which I don't use a lot of to begin with, but I give it a lot of thought. And the anime, you just kind of go with it and stick with your solids and decide how you want the shading to work, and the coloring does some of the heavy lifting on the animes too, so they're a little simpler to ink, although we did have 2 figures to ink. And I also wanted Toga and Twice to be really designy, so, you know, I did the background and added their character names, even though they're a little hard to read, but I kind of picked that font more of a color to break up spots than to actually be read. So you can read them, but that's not what they're there for. And I've been doing the designy thing and making these things look like posters more than just drawings. So it's been a lot of fun doing that, and I'm going to stick with it. So you'll be seeing a lot more of that and pretty much everything I draw going forward. Optimus Prime doesn't have text, but he has a really interesting background, we'll put it. Oh, so back to Hawks and Twice. So Hawks does the stabby thing, and basically does the M word to Mr. Twice. He just takes him out because he knows it's a problem. He's a villain, and we don't have time to deal with this because we gotta solve this villain problem or Japan's gonna be destroyed and nothing is gonna come out of that. And Toga, her power, if she drinks your blood, we talked about this, she can, or tastes it, she could imitate you. And if she truly loves you and you're a good friend, she could also use your powers. And Twice falls into that category. So when the heroes break the villains up into all these separate little groups to do the whole fight them and match powers up so they actually have a chance to win, they move Toga to a separate thing, and she pulls Deku in, and she fights with Uraraka. But after they all get separated again and pushed to where they need to be, she activates Twice's power. She imitates him. And she brings it to a whole nother level, bigger than Twice ever did, because she is angry. She's sad that her friend got unalived. And she's just doing her best to fight the good guys who to her are villains because they took her friend away. And she makes mountains of Twice clones. I mean, many, like they're overwhelming. There's just thousands upon thousands of them. Maybe even tens of thousands. And it just overwhelms the heroes, and it's one of the harder things to overcome. Eventually, she fights with Uraraka, and she stabs Uraraka, gives her a nice jab. And Uraraka just says, I just want you to be happy. And Toga gets sad because she actually loves Uraraka and Deku too, even though they're on different sides of the fight here. But then I guess she sees something that of what she wanted to be but never could be or whatever, I don't know. But she gets sad, so her blood can also keep people alive, so she gives a bunch of it to Uraraka to keep her from unaliving. And in the process, she ends up being unalived herself, but she does it for a good cause, and she saves Uraraka, and it's kind of her redemption at the end. She saves the good guy at the cost of her own self. And it's a sad moment, and Uraraka doesn't forgive herself for that for a long time. As part of the little end arc, the epilogue is how she can't forgive herself for letting Toga not survive, and how she could have done better. She could have not let herself get stabbed, and that way she would have been able to save her, and everybody would have came out smiley and happy. But unfortunately, that's not always how it works, even in the real world. People get sick, people you love leave you, and it's sad. But it's something we have to move on and go forward with and just remember the good times. And that's what Deku basically tells Uraraka, and then they move on from there. But Toga will be missed because she was a great character, and she's all kinds of fun to draw. If you guys want to draw some fun anime characters, and that's your main focus, I would suggest finding a couple cool pictures of Toga and doing your own version like I did. Or copy mine. That's what this video is here for. There will be the slower version that's really easy to follow along with. And plus, you figure out how the anime thing works with the big eyes. They don't all have giant eyes, but I like to throw on the giant eyes when I do the anime, even if they don't need it. And follow along. And you learn something too, because things you apply on a drawing of her, you could apply to anybody else. Maybe you want to draw Harley Quinn and you want to make her more anime style. So you could get away with that. And using Toga as a base and the things you learn from drawing her, you could add to that. In fact, if I stuck to my guns and I did more than one sketch of Harley, I could have made the anime thing work. But, I had a picture of her in my head, and that's what I wanted to draw. And I'm kind of stubborn when it comes to that, so I just kind of go with my first idea, and all's be darned. Although except for the Spider-Gwen that I recently drawn. I did like 5 tiny super quick sketches of different spider type poses, and then I picked the one that I liked the most and thought would work best with the idea I had for the background for the poster thing. And that's what I went with, but usually I just have an idea and I go with it. Sometimes I have to draw it more than once, or sometimes I'll redraw the whole drawing. Like Absolute Batman. I drew him once and then I had to draw him again. In fact, I might make a short video out of just the pencils and inks of the original Absolute Batman, because it is a cool drawing. It's just, he's normal Batman size. He's not that big, giant, oafing Batman that Absolute Batman is. And if you want to read an awesome comic series that came out recently, read Absolute Batman. It's really good. I have to get past issue 7. You mentioned that in the video. I still haven't had a chance to get back to it, but I will. And I will read that whole thing. So yeah, so Toga, she made an army of Twices. I mean, thousands of Twices. And it was really hard for the heroes to overcome that. It took basically Uraraka convincing her to stand down and getting stabbed and making Toga sad to stop the army of Twices. That's how many there were. And it's really fun to see the mountains of Twices overwhelming everybody and coming out of the portals that they open up to the different parts of the different fights. It was a sight to see. And Toga was to blame for all that. Another thing that Toga did was when the big final war fight thing started, the heroes had a plan to break all the villains into separate groups and fight them on different fronts and have different heroes suited for different battles. Like they had Todoroki and Endeavor fight. No, Endeavor fought All for One, and Todoroki was to fight Dabi, you know, matching up powers and skill sets and to give everybody a chance. And Deku was supposed to be sent right to the what do they call it? Oh, I forgot what they called it, but the floating UA building where Todoroki was, because he was the one to fight Todoroki. Not Todoroki, Shiragaki, sorry. He was the one to fight Shiragaki. And Toga grabbed Deku and pulled him through her portal. So he didn't end up in the right place. So Shiragaki ended up fighting with Bakugo and Best Jeanist and a bunch of other heroes without Deku. And they wanted one for all, Deku's power. I think I got that right. Because that's the only thing that was really powerful enough to really battle Shiragaki's powers, because All for One definitely amped him up. They made him almost as strong as Prime All Might. He added all these other powers to him. And to keep him in check, even though Eraserhead, Aizawa, lost an eye, and I don't know if he could use his power to shut off people's powers anymore. But there's another guy from another class who can use other people's powers. So he transferred them to him, and they had to stay in contact the whole time. And the guy using Aizawa's powers had to keep his eyes open, because if he blinked for a second, it would cut contact, and Shiragaki would get all his powers back, and then they'd really have a problem, because just with all his powers, he's just overwhelming. He had multiple quirks, and the heroes would have probably not been able to stop him then, even though even Deku couldn't stop him. And he had to transfer One for All, yes, One for All, into Shiragaki to awaken memories and dormant memories to stop him. That's a spoiler, sorry about that, but it's gonna happen. I'll put a little spoiler tag in the beginning of the video if I remember. Hopefully I'll remember, not the beginning of the video, the beginning in the description. I'll put one, because that's a pretty big spoiler. But if you read the manga, you knew that months and months ago. Whoop, the pencils are done, and now it's time to color Toga and Twice. And that's where this really comes together, because, you know, as you can see, I get colorful and have a lot of fun with the background, and it helps make them pop. And I have a subscription to Photoshop, and I got that subscription, one, because I know Photoshop better than any of the more modern replacements, even Clip Studio that I draw this with, even though it does, at least for what I do, 90% of the same things. But there's one thing it didn't do. At least I didn't know how to do it in Clip Studio. And that's to take a gradient and turn it into a halftone dot pattern. And I Googled it the other day because I'm like, I spend a lot of money every month on Photoshop, and do I really need it? And I'm going to keep it for a while because it's the quickest way for me to do some things. But man, it was so easy to do the thing I wanted to do. Take a gradient and turn it into a halftone pattern. In Clip Studio, all you do is you make a layer, and then it has layer mode things, and one of them is a little slider. It says halftones, and it turns it into halftone dots, and you get to pick the size and everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. I haven't tried it with colors yet or anything like that. I just did it with black and white, and I did it the long way, but it worked. And I did it on Spider-Gwen, and mostly what I use it for is either to make a pattern like the moon in the background of Absolute Batman, where it's a circle and then it has the gradient coming out of it, so it's like the light shining. And it's a nice subtle effect, and I think it's better than just putting a white gradient that fades out the colors, because I don't love gradients as a rule, even though I do use them sometimes. I just don't love them. But so I like to use the halftones when possible, and now I know how to do it. And for the Spider-Gwen, I used it as a kind of like a separator. Instead of putting an outline on her, it is an outline, but instead of just being a white line, it's a light gradient of halftone dots, and it really makes her pop off of the black background. It wasn't necessary, but it definitely looks better because of it. And so now I could do that in Clip Studio. So I might try to do my banners and everything for the Spider-Gwen and Clip. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this voiceover. I'm going to go do a couple other chores I need to do today. And then I am going to work on the title card for the Spider-Gwen video, but I'm going to try to animate it. I might use Adobe Fresco. I might use the animations here in Clip Studio. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I want to animate that stuff. Make it look a little more professional. That's another thing on my 2026 bingo card, is I want to animate certain parts of these videos better, because right now I just kind of cheat my way through by using transitions and iMovie. So I want to learn how to use Final Cut. That's not going to happen right away, because there's a learning curve to that, and I just got to spend some time watching some videos and doing. But the animation thing, I kind of want to get going. And it's a really simple animation. I just want things slide in, fade out, shake a little bit. You know, things like that, just to make it look cool. So, yeah, I think that's going to be one of the things I work on today. Not that you guys really need to know that, because, you know, you're just watching me draw Toga and Twice. But, as you can see, I went a little dark on her shading, and I didn't love it. It just was too much, even when I threw the background colors on. So we lightened her up, and we added a little red to it, pinking it up, and it worked much better. So we fixed that. Don't get worried and think that I leave her all dark and overshadowed, because I don't. I realize it's too much. But sometimes it's easier to see when you leave it all dark, and then you can adjust it later. So, like if I was going to screen print this, I would make every single color layer black. And then I would figure out how to overlay them and how to delete parts and match them up. Because I used to do screen printing way back in the day. I used to do it for myself and for local bands and stuff. It's a good time. If I had the room to do it in this new place, I would screen print more. But I don't at the moment, and it makes me sad. But I was in a factory with a friend of mine, you know, one of those places where you rent rooms for, you know, art or music, or if you're a welder or you want to run a business and you can't afford an actual storefront or an actual industrial place. You get these things for you get these rooms for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands of dollars. And it's really great. And he got one just so he could play drums and get away from the condo he lives in. Because, you know, you can't be very noisy when you live in a condo. You can't be playing the drums all day. So, you know, maybe I'll figure out a way to get one of those. And that'll be my little art studio and my little recording studio and my screen printing studio. It might be fun. Or maybe I'll sublet his and see if he'll let me rent half of it. And we'll split it. I don't know. That's future me talking. But it'll be fun. And plus I could do some really cool things, and once I set up the Streamlabs, I guess there's a Streamlabs store, so I could take some of the drawings and make them available for t-shirts or posters and stuff like that. So we might do that. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, so future we'll figure something out with that. But right now, just gotta focus on making videos and going live. That's the focus for the beginning of 2026. Going live, starting a talk show with my friend, doing more videos, but animating the title screens and things like that. So the people who only watched the first 30 seconds go say, hey, that was cool. Maybe I should watch more of this video. So that's on the list of things to do. And wow, this video is not far off from being done, even though it doesn't really look like it. But I could see the end of it at the end of the screen here on Logic Pro. I do the videos, I cut them together, and then I just save a quick copy of the video after it's all edited together. And I bring it into Logic Pro and I load the movie in so I can watch it while I talk. And that's how we do the audio. I don't know if it's the most efficient way to do it, but like I said before, I work like a Neanderthal. So Neanderthal, see, I said it right this time, I think. And I do everything the hard way, so that's what I do here. Like, see, even in shading on her clothing is a little too dark right now, but we fixed that all, I promise, once we start getting everything else in. I also do a couple extra levels of shading on her just to give it more depth. Drawing Toga was fun. I'm going to draw more anime women villains or anime male villains. They're fun. And like the engine drawing that I did for the Gachagoko, whatever it's called. I did him in his mask, because when they go into the toxic lands, they have to wear a full face mask so they could breathe the air and not get sick and, you know, fall prey to toxic gas. I really love the look of his mask, so I drew him with his full mask on instead of showing his face. And I also do that with Spider-Gwen. I kind of do a few masks, and I did that with Spider-Punk. And I put Batman in all black. Oh gosh, I hope you guys don't think I'm avoiding drawing faces. I'm not. Heck, Optimus Prime doesn't even have a real face. He has that blast shield over his mouth. Because I don't subscribe to the Michael Bay thing where the blast shield comes down and you can see Prime's mouth. That's just not how it works. They should just move the blast shield up and down a little so it looked like he was talking. He's a robot. He doesn't need a mouth. He needs a speaker. Sorry, rant over. So tell me, did any of you watch My Hero Academia? And if you did, who are your favorite characters? Because I want to do a few more from the show. But, you know, I pick everything that I draw. So it might be fun to draw something that somebody suggests to me. I've done a few of those before. The Taskmaster and Deathstroke chibi thing. That was a request. What was the other one? Another one was a request. Spawn. Spawn was a request from a friend of mine who said I should draw Spawn. I'm like, oh, that cape's going to take forever. But man, that was fun to draw. So I was thinking, well, I already did Bakugo. I already did a Choco. I did Deco. I did All Might. And now we got Toga and Twice. So I think Todoroki would be a good shot. Who's that other one? Lemillion would be fun. Airplug, she's fun. To draw her playing bass or something. That would be cool. It's fun. Lady Nangent, she would be fun. Oh, the bunny girl. What's her name? I totally forgot. But man, she's aggressive and cool. She would be fun to draw. I want to do Iron. All My Iron Might. He would be really cool to do. And I just had one. Dobby. Dobby would be a lot of fun with the flames. And oh, yeah, we're going to add Dobby to the list too. And we're going to add Mirko to the list. She's the rabbit girl. Man, that girl she will not give up. She will fight till she has no legs. She's missing an arm, and she will still come at you. That girl does not know the meaning of the word quit. She is tough. And she would be fun to draw too. And she almost took out Shirogaki all by herself when he first awakened. I mean, granted, his power levels were lower, but he was still more than a match for 90% of the heroes out there when he woke up, if he wasn't so disorientated and not at full power. But man, she fought him to win. I mean, she didn't win, unfortunately, but she gave it her all, and she had no quit in her. So yeah, she's definitely getting drawn. Mirko, you're on the list. You and Dobby. You're going to be the next two My Heroes. I don't know which order we're going to do you in, but you two are getting drawn. Well, being the first video of 2026, I kind of spent a little too much time talking about the future because I'm actually doing this 2 days before it's due out. And I did not get a chance to look up Twice's origin, so I apologize for that. And as for the background, I just kind of threw up the layers because I didn't want to spend 40 minutes building all of this stuff. So if that's what you want to see, I am sorry also, but I'm going to do some separate videos on things like building the backgrounds and the effects. But Toga and Twice are done, so I thank you all for coming along for the draw, and like and subscribe and comment and watch the shorts, and go out there and draw something. See you next week.